It's
Why don't you come and see what everyone seems to be talking about?
Well, hi, friends, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher, and as we've been saying for 5.5 years, and you. And we hope you join us for this All About Relationships monthly show. That's right, it's monthly. We do it once a month, and we talk about any type of relationship you have, whether it's good, it's bad, or it's ugly. We talk about it. And it's very popular. And how timely, Jerry, because it's just a couple days before Christmas.
Well, that's right, and it's
Yeah.
the time of year when relationships usually they kind of get highlighted. You know, the good ones look really good, and sometimes the bad ones look really bad. So we want
So
to
true.
talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and hopefully good relationships on today's show.
That's right. So we want to hear from you. If you have a relationship that you want to talk about, you want to share all the good things, the blessings that have come out of that relationship, call us at 1-833-288-3986. If you have a relationship that is difficult, even toxic, and you know we're coming up on Christmas and New Year's, and you're just dreading the thought of interacting with this person, call us. We'll talk about it. 1-833-288-EWTN. And you'll speak to Rich Jesse. He's answering calls today, and he just loves to talk to everybody in the Take Two family. But you got to fill the phone lines. This All About Relationships show is usually one of our most popular. As a matter of fact, a lot of folks go back at nighttime, Jerry, and watch the YouTube and really learn a lot about relationships.
Yeah, well, and this is a time of year, too, when new friendships can form, new relationships. It could be romantic. It could be just a friendship. If you've recently developed a relationship that has brought you maybe some consolation during these difficult times, feel free to give us a call about that. Maybe you've got a long-time relationship, not doing so well right now. We all sometimes have friends that we think we can count on, and we will text them or try to call them or something, and no response, and that kind of leaves us scratching our head, going, "What happened? Did I do something? What went wrong?" So, we can talk about any and all of these things, whatever you would like about relationships, at 833-288-EWTN or 3986.
We're not relationship experts, but we've lived a long lives, and we've had a lot of interactions with folks and friendships and relationships. And so maybe we could just converse like we're in our virtual Take Two living room. Okay, picture that, and you have like a nice cool drink, and you're sitting down. See, Jerry just grabbed his water bottle. See, he's in the virtual living room, and we're just chatting about friends, not gossiping. We really want this to be a very productive conversation where, like Jerry likes to always say that I say, we want to walk away a little bit changed, a little bit closer to God. We want to bring our spirituality into it. We want to bring our Christian belief into our relationships, because we are the body of Christ, and we are made for community. And this year, Jerry, has really divided us, and it's taken its toll on a lot of relationships. We're getting emails from folks that are seriously contemplating if they could even live with their spouses any longer. And that's not a good thing.
Right. No, you're right. The stresses of life under lockdown, under COVID, have been difficult on a lot of marriages. Maybe you're part of an important relationship that you think is maybe too one-sided. Perhaps you are on the outside looking in and at a relationship that is not going well, and it's two people that you love, and you're concerned, and you don't quite know what to do, how to talk to them about that. Maybe one of them has even asked you, "Hey, can you help me out? This relationship isn't going very well." So, as Debbie said, we're not counselors, therapists, trained relationship anything like that. We've just lived a lot of life, and we just simply want to have a conversation about it. We don't offer advice or therapy or anything like that, but I think, Debbie, we have conversations on this show. We hear from people after they've listened to the show and called the show, and they'll email and say, "You know what? things are turning around for me. This relationship is going a little bit better. This part of my life is a little bit better. That's what we want. So feel free to join us at 833-288-3986.
Don't wait till the last minute, because when we start going on these conversations, they go very fast. This is like the quickest hour in radio. So we want you to jump in. You'll speak to Rich. He'll put you on hold. You get to listen live, and then you can, jump right into the conversation at 833-288-3986. And just looking ahead for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow is our last live broadcast before Christmas, and we're really focusing on the teens. So if you are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, about that group, that age group, please call us and tell us what your Christmas wish would be for you, your family, and the world. We want to hear from the teens and young adults, Jerry. So that's for tomorrow, with parents' approval. That's right. With parents' approval. Just don't call us and start chatting until you check with your parents. That would be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, but you've got a lot to say. You have a lot of wisdom, even at perhaps an age where we don't expect people to have the wisdom of someone in their 50s or 60s or 70s who've lived a lot of life. But we want to ask you the question, what is your Christmas wish for yourself, for your family, for our country, for the world? As Debbie said, it's our final live show before Christmas, and I think it has the potential to be a very, very impactful program, Debbie, because we all have our wishes, especially this time of year. And there could be a lot of very, very wise things shared by our young people tomorrow.
Absolutely. The youth, we want the youth to speak for 2020. So if you have a young one, what I mean by that is a teen or a young adult at home right now, ask if they would be willing to call in tomorrow for tomorrow's show. But today is all about relationships. Phone lines are lighting up. That's a good sign. That means you have something to say about those people that are in your circle, in your friendship circle, right? We want to talk about that. Do you have people you can trust? Or most of your relationships high maintenance or toxic, and you just don't know what to do? You don't know what the Christian response should be. Let's talk about it. 833-288-3986.
Maybe, just maybe, it's even your relationship with God. That has its ups and downs, and sometimes we don't quite know how to cultivate that relationship. God can seem so distant, so big, so magnificent, and it's just little old me trying to have this relationship with this all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipresent God. So if it's your relationship with God that you're, trying to figure out right now, anything all about relationships, we have Paul and Natalie and several others. 2 phone lines open, though, 833-288-3986. Join us today on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio.
Catholic Answers Live.
One of the things that we often think about in our spiritual lives is how to do something big for God. But really, most of the time, we should focus on how we can do something small for God. It's these small things that help us consecrate our ordinary daily activities and help us do everything for Jesus Christ.
Catholic Answers Live, tonight, 6 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Hi, this is Debbie Georgiani.
And I'm Jerry Usher.
Have you joined our Inspired by Faith book club yet? Log on to standtalltoday.com and click on the book club tab.
Our facilitator, Gigi, picks a great book each month for us to read together.
Then we have a virtual conversation about it at the end of the month.
It's a great way to make sure spiritual reading is part of your daily life.
Again, go to standtalltoday.com and follow the link to register for the Inspired by Faith book club.
EWTN, helping people grow in their love and understanding of God.
Hey, listen, I want to tell you also, you guys are phenomenal. The opportunity to say these things on the air is filling the vacuum out there with very, very positive thoughts and ideas. I'm just thrilled that you guys do what you do.
Just want to say how wonderful it is to listen to you guys. You've taught me that life needs to be much more intentional. I want to thank you for your ministry.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Well, You don't have to take a look at the calendar. You look all around you, you see that Christmas is in the air, and it's coming up in 3 short days. And all of us here at Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and EWTN Radio pray that you have a very blessed, grace-filled, joy-filled, peaceful Christmas time and going into the new year, and that all of your relationships are healthy and strong and a blessing in your life. That's from all of us here at EWTN Radio. And also, I want to point your attention to a wonderful book that you might want to get for your kids. It's called ABC, Get to Know the Saints with Me. It introduces young readers to the communion of saints in a simple and memorable way. Each page includes an easy-to-read letter of the alphabet and a charming rhyme about the life of the corresponding saint in heaven. It's written by Carolyn Perkins, a preschool teacher turned social media journalist, and the creator of Be Still by Caroline. She grew up in a large family and went to the University of Oklahoma, and her inspiration comes from teaching her stepson Jack about the Catholic faith. That's available at EWTNRC.com. It's ABC, Get to Know the Saints with Me. Look for it there.
I love new books on saints. I think they're just fabulous. I think that it would be a great decision if we all went and got that book. Okay, so we've got Paul, who's up first in Dayton, Ohio, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Paul. Welcome.
Hi. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Oh, I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Good.
Do you want me to just tell you
Sure.
what's going on or why?
Yeah, tell us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure,
tell
go
us
right
about
ahead.
your relationship. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is about a relationship with my wife. And coming up on my 1-year anniversary, I was married before for 24 years. This was 10 years ago, and my wife at the time decided to end the marriage. I did end up getting an annulment after many years of going back and forth of whether I should or not, and it was granted. And so I'm coming up on almost a year now. The issue I have, and it's not really an issue, it's just it's been a very trying year for a number of reasons. When I got married, I was not sober. I have, a substance abuse disorder. I have been sober for a year now, but that all kind of came out, maybe 2 weeks before we were supposed to get married. My wife kind of knew about it, and she did stand by me through my rehab, and I'm in a very good place now from that perspective. But there are still times when it's very difficult. She's a wonderful woman. She's a beautiful woman. But she's strong-headed, and I don't really mean that in a bad way. My first wife was pretty passive, and I pretty much ran the show. And now it's much more of a give and take. I think the problem that I have is I think sometimes we have a hard time getting past the difficult times. And not only did I have this substance abuse issue, but I've had some other very serious medical issues, which, again, this is like January 17th, culminated in that I ended up having my right leg amputated at the Mayo Clinic last year after many years of an infection. It started as a heart issue, just very long, progressive, thing that honestly I think is all in the rearview mirror now. And I really do want to move forward with this relationship. It's just sometimes we get into these arguments that turn into very nasty fights. I mean,
Sure.
I have to admit neither one of us really fight fair in the end. And, I just want to move forward and just want to see what you guys think, I guess.
Well, yeah, Paul, Jerry and I are not trained therapists or counselors, but we do life coaching. And so we work with a lot of couples that are trying to hit the reset button and to change things for the future. What I would say just very quickly is that, I think that says a lot what you are sharing about the fact that when you guys fight, it's not an argument, it's not a win-win, it's really a fight. So there's a winner and a loser. And that's not good for a marriage, because that means that So when you fight, there's an enemy, right? And we don't want that for our spouse. Our spouses, it should be where we both win, if you will, meaning we're both heard. We listen well. We appreciate the other person's perspective, and we don't view the other one as an opponent. And so I just wanted to say the best way, in my humble opinion, to hit that reset button, Paul, is to just practice these things. Practice, I've said this many times in life coaching. We've always heard it say practice makes perfect. It's practice makes permanent. You guys are in a habit of it, and it's not working probably for either one of you. So just to hit that perfect time. I mean, we had a new year, new calendar year. Maybe put down on paper that the things that both of you want to work on together, and not point fingers, but work on them together. You're a couple. You're a team. You're in this together. And you're right, things should be put in the past that need to be put in the past. But if they keep coming into the relationship, then there's some feelings that need to be worked through. And those can be done in a very loving, kind way. Last thing I just want to say real quickly, a lot of couples have lost the art of wonder and awe. And what I mean by that is I've heard it said many times by a lot of experts, relationship experts, and they've said, when we see our spouse, we should be looking at them like, wow, you're here. You're in front of me. You're right here with me. This sense of like, there she is. We've got to bring that back into our relationships. Otherwise, we just, it somewhat becomes roommates, really, and that's not a sacramental marriage. What do you think, Paul?
I totally hear what you're saying, and I mean, I certainly am not perfect by any means, and I have a hard time sometimes getting past some of those arguments because I'm not used to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've lost my temper, and I, raise my voice in that, but I don't, or at least try not to say mean things. But sometimes mean things are said, and they stick to me, and they don't just, kind of go away. I don't know if maybe that's how she's used to fighting, or, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. I want to get past those, but it just, yes.
I'm curious, is this her first marriage?
No, this is her third marriage.
Okay.
Her first husband died, and then her second one, didn't work out, and that was another process that she also went through an annulment, which was granted. I think it was kind of some questionable circumstances, but the priest, we did get married in the Catholic Church. Sure. We didn't have a mass. We had the sacrament, though, and so she's not officially Catholic. She's gone back and forth of, deciding if she wants to do the RCIA, and she hasn't done it yet, but
okay.
She does go to mass with me when I go, but it's, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't, and that's fine. I wasn't intending to dig too much into that, but the thought occurred to me. You mentioned the struggles that you have had with the substance abuse, and that came to light about 2 weeks before the marriage, and then you had your leg amputated, like you said, and all of these things. If she's been through difficult, situations or times before, sometimes these things can probably. I mean, especially this early in a marriage, it's supposed to be, in sickness and in health, and for better or for worse, and all of that. But for all of these things to happen to you, they can kind of seem like they're caving in on her too. She's looking at this going, oh no, oh my goodness, it's going to be like this. And so maybe there's just some feelings, welling up within her of like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this. That was just a thought that came to my head there. I don't know if that means anything, but, I think maybe, if you, I don't know if you've been to counseling or gotten some life coaching or anything like that, but it sounds like you want to work hard on this. I'm sure she's the type of woman who wants to work hard on this. And like Debbie said, what better time of year? It's the holidays. Have, talk through these things and just, resolve to go into the new year, trying even harder and doing what Debbie said, looking at her and her looking at you saying, wow, I cannot believe the gift that God has given me.
It's a very good perspective.
Well, we'll
Thank
keep you in our prayers, Paul, for sure.
I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks for
Thank
calling.
you. Yes.
Thank you.
A lot of people are hitting the reset, just so you know, because COVID really rocked a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages. And so people are working on hitting the reset for the new calendar year. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Okay, Natalie is up next in Dallas, Texas. Guadalupe Radio Network is the way you're listening. Hi, Natalie. Welcome. Hey, Natalie. Do you hear Natalie? Because I don't.
I hear some static or noise or something. Maybe Rich Jesse, who's so graciously screening calls for us again today, can check in with Natalie, and we can find out how Rose is doing in Pennsylvania, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Rose. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
While listening to Paul, it was actually very similar, except I'm the female. I'm the wife calling, and not his wife, obviously, but
Right.
but it was just, I just felt, well, my story is that this is my first marriage, going on 9 years, and that he was married before. When we went to register, he told me he was married once, but I was surprised to see that I was actually the third wife. And I almost backed out of the marriage, and I didn't. And then there was other red flags, like he was very controlling during the relationship and would break things in the house if he got mad. But I forgave him, and I just thought, because he was such a good, he was also so caring. He had such another side of him that I loved, and so we got married in 9 years, and just. Sure.
It's okay, Rose.
Yeah, take your time.
It's just a lot of, I think, just a lot of verbal abuse. He doesn't break things as much, but he still does. But I'm not so attached to the things anymore, because my father would always tell me when he was alive, do not be attached to things. And I do. I try like that all that you were talking about. That I try to look for that, because my father, when he was alive, he would say, try to concentrate on the positive, on the white horse, not the black, like the not the bad part. And I try and every time, like, he makes me feel so small. Like, he just makes me feel so bad about myself sometimes, and then when I feel good about myself, because I try to have my own, I have an inner life, which was brought up in me by my parents, thank God. And so I really rely on that. But I miss that all that you were talking about. And then hate sometimes creeps into my heart. Like when he does something to me, or he says something to me, or he slams on the brakes and the coffee just goes all over my face. And I don't say anything. Say anything, because if I say something, then that it's something I did.
Sure.
So I don't say anything, and I just say a lot of Hail Marys, and then he apologizes. He says, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I don't treat you as I should." And I say to him, "I know you don't, and I wish you would." And then it just keeps going around and round and round, and then I feel like I'm starting to lose. I don't care as much. Like
you're going numb. You're going numb and in survival mode. Yeah.
Yes. Like today I went to do something in the morning, and he was like, and he always knows what I'm doing, which is kind of annoys me now. Before I thought I was nice and caring, but now I'm just I just have to go. I mean, I want to get him a Christmas present or whatever, but I can't even tell him.
Sure.
I can't even do that.
Right. Well, Rose.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm going numb. Exactly.
Right. Well,
and
Rose.
I hate that because then hate creeps into my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I read Dr. Anders' book, The Catholic Church Saved My Marriage, which was very good. And then I started just reading the book, How to Survive Abusive Relationships. But I don't know. Yeah, I was just wondering what that hate that's creeping into my heart, that numbness. Like, how do I make that go away?
Well, you make it go away with your husband getting some real deep help with his past issues. Being married multiple times and then going into this marriage, he's just bringing baggage with him and things that he's learned to do. It's not working. What he's doing to you, Rose, based on what you told us, is not right. It's not good for your spiritual life. It's not good for your self-esteem. It's not good for your relationship. It's not helpful. And for him to do something and then apologize, it's just a cycle. It's a cycle, and that's not healthy. He needs to relearn relationship techniques. But Rose, stay with us. Please stay with us. You hear that music. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish this discussion on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
El Cresta, Jonette Williams, Father Robert Spitzer. You'll hear the leading Catholic voices on the largest Catholic media network in the world. This is the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit today.
Hi, I'm Doug Keck. This is an EWTN Multimedia Bookmark Brief. We're talking with Robert Orlando, the writer-director of the wonderful documentary, The Divine Plan, Ronald Reagan, John Paul II, and the dramatic end of the Cold War. So what is this about, and what's different about it, Robert?
This was the D-Day of our generation, the legacy of history for the second half of the 20th century. Greatest story ever told. Two men who saw what was coming in the Soviet Union and agreed, after they had near-death experiences through assassination, that they would unify together with the CIA and other support systems and bring down the Berlin Wall.
Ronald Reagan, John Paul II, The Dramatic End of the Cold War. There's also a companion book as well you did with Paul Kengor, both available through the EWTN Religious Catalog. And you can check that out, EWTNRC.com. Thank you, Robert Orlando, writer and director of this wonderful documentary. I'm Doug Keck. This has been a Bookmark Brief. We'll catch you next time.
I'm Gloria Purvis.
I'm Monsignor Charles Pope.
And I'm Deacon Harold. The Morning Glory team talks about the 12 days of Christmas.
Tomorrow morning, 7 Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We're talking about relationships today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we're speaking with Rose in Pennsylvania, and Rose is sharing some of the aspects of her relationship. And Rose, you are so kind. You made the comment that he has such a nice side to him and a caring side to him, but that other side, Rose, you really have to really look at that clearly, because when people show themselves to you, we need to believe them. Okay, him breaking things and stopping the car short and spilling coffee all over you, those are dangerous things that he is entering into. And then apologizing afterwards, that's problematic too, because that's not an excuse for doing that to you. And it sounds like you were raised beautifully and you have this great self-respect and you're hanging in there. But that's not healthy. And there's help out there. There's counseling, there's programs, there's coaching, there's all sorts of things. If you could encourage him to really look into this together for your marriage, because it's not right. I have to tell you, when it really, my stomach hurt as you were telling me this, because you shouldn't have to experience that. You know, that's like walking on eggshells all the time. You don't know what's going to set him off. That's not a really, I mean, look at the Holy Family. Would Saint Joseph do that? Answer: no.
No.
Okay, so he needs to rise up and really start to grow out of this bad behavior that he's in. And that's what it is. It's a habit. It's a bad habit. What do you think?
Yes. No, I agree, but I don't know how to. He sometimes even cries, and he says, "I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad person. I'll promise to get better." And then I feel bad. I'm like, "Oh, it's okay," you know. And
No.
And then it just starts over again.
No, Rose, don't. Okay, Rose, please, may I say this? You don't want to give in to that. Okay, if he's crying and saying, "I'm sorry, I'm a bad person," then say, "Honey, we need to get help. You need to get help. We need to get help, because this is not stopping. This is a bad pattern, and God forbid."
Yeah.
I mean, Rose, what happens if he throws something and it breaks and the glass shatters and hits you and cuts you up? I mean, this is dangerous. You know, I mean, I know it sounds like it could be under control, like you're trying to control it and he's somewhat trying to control it, but this is really not. It's not a healthy atmosphere for you, and that's not.
No.
It's not right. But there's help out there. Please know that there's a lot of help out there. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
Well, I just had a thought come up that I just wanted to share. It's maybe a little bit different than what has been offered so far here, Rose, but I really do believe, I think some people can, deep down inside, really want to act differently, treat you as you do deserve to be treated. And this may be the case with your husband. Past issues may come up, behaviors result from that. And then what happens is you want to do one thing, you seem sort of out of control and not able to do that, and then anger results from that. And I'm reminded of a scripture passage, St. Paul in Romans 7, verse 15. He says, "I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." So there's a scriptural basis for that. For sometimes in our lives, I really do think deep down inside, you know, we can have good intentions, but there are factors, traumas, past wounds, injuries, issues, the baggage Debbie talked about that just kind of rise above those good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that happens, then we get more and more angry because we're going, I'm not in control of this situation. I know what I want to do, but I'm not able to do that. And then the outbursts happen and the danger comes in. And so I would just also interject. Go ahead, Rose. Go ahead, please.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Please. No, please. I want to hear what you have to say. Yours is more important.
No, like sometimes I just think it's just pure evil. Like when I see him, when I see I can just be not on time for something, which is normal. My friends are not on time for things, but then he slams on the brakes in the car because I should have been outside waiting. Why was I not outside waiting? Like to me, that sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it's pure evil, and I think, where did he go?
Well, I just want to say something. I see what you're saying, that it feels like, it's evil. He's, in my humble opinion, he's got a very low self-esteem, and he's got some kind of inferiority complex or something that is driving him to want to control you. Okay, to make himself feel better for some reason, or to have this, maybe he feels like everything else is out of control in his life, or maybe something in his past was out of control, and so, but he feels like he can control you. That's not healthy for him. That's not healthy for him either. It's dangerous all the way around. Rose, honest to goodness, I really think you should consult with his, you and him together. You should talk to a priest. You should get a good Christian counselor. You should keep and keep pursuing things together to work through this, because it's and even if you could somewhat get through this, Rose, for the rest of your life, it's not healthy for either one of you. It's just right.
It's miserable for me. I'm miserable. I really feel like numb, like you said. And then just yesterday, he's like, well, "You're acting like you're so different lately," And I said to him, I'm acting like you act towards me. That's what I'm acting like. That's what I am doing. I'm becoming like he hangs up. I call him, and he hangs up on me like abruptly, and then I'm just starting to do the same thing. And I hate doing that, but to me, I'm sick of turning the other cheek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I forgot if you mentioned, Rose, whether you're both Catholic or if you go to church, but I was wondering if he is a practicing Catholic, does he take these things to confession?
He hates going to church with me.
He hates going to church with you? Oh, okay.
He hates. I have to beg. He goes to church with me, but since it went virtual, I watch it on my phone, and he's not interested at all. He's not interested in watching it. He's not interested in praying with me. No.
He says
he's Catholic. His parents were Catholic, but he lost his mom when he was very young, and he blames. He says if there was a God, she would have lived, and he's just very immature about that. Because I lost both my parents as well, so
But see, there you go. Yeah. Something that was out of his control. He lost his mom at a young age, and now he's overly controlling. You see, he's got issues that he just needs to work on, and you can work on them. He can get through this. He could have the freedom that he wants for himself, and you could be feeling, and you could be thriving in the marriage. This could turn around overnight if he's willing to just be open and make some necessary changes and drop some of those fixed beliefs and those things that he's feeling inside. If he could work past it, Rose, you could have a really wonderful relationship.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, we're going to pray for that, Rose. That's a great idea. Rose Sweet, who's one of our life coaches, she's amazing, and she's worked a lot with couples and all sorts of issues. If you can contact her, you could even go on standtalltoday.com. Huh?
Where do I go? I would love to do that.
Standtalltoday.com and get a free consultation with Rose Sweet. You won't be disappointed. She's phenomenal.
And standtalltoday.com.
And click on the coaching banner, and then you go to Rose Sweet and get a free consultation, and let her know that Jerry and Debbie sent you, and she's so wonderful. She'll provide necessary resources and tools for you to navigate your way through this, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
Right. You go with our prayers, Rose. Thank you so much for having the courage to call in today, and may God give you peace through the coming days, the holidays, and so forth, and our prayers definitely are with you. Thank you very much for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We just got a text message in from one of our Take Two family members who said the biblical verse to turn the other cheek is not to be used for being abused.
Right.
So that just came in from one of our Take Two family members they're very concerned for Rose and wants Rose to go to counseling. Even if he doesn't want to go, they suggested for her to go.
Okay.
Take Two families, we're a loving family.
Yes, caring family.
Caring family.
It's all about relationships today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Sandy, hold on, in Ohio. Natalie got in right before you, so we'll get to Sandy next. But Natalie is in Dallas listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you for your ministry.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a convert. I'm approximately 52 years old, and my initial reason for calling was something else, but I wanted to reach out to your last caller and just say I'll be praying for her, and I know so many listeners will be, and many of us can relate. Similar circumstances in my life. I came to a really difficult place in my marriage, and God gave me the grace just to be present with him on the stand there with Pilate and being accused. And sometimes in some of our suffering, that's where we go to Jesus and we can unite and go to his word. And that'll lead me into why I initially called the Great Reset. We keep hearing that. What amazing time for us to be chosen to live in. We keep hearing this word reset, and how much is the message not about political or economic reset, but the world needs to be reset to Jesus. And everything that you two have been trying to convey, and it's the answer for everyone who's listening. In all things, we reset to Jesus. And here coming upon Christmas, the day after the darkest day, light starts to be coming in. I just encourage all listeners within this voice of mine to plug into EWTN mornings and at least read the scripture. It has been such a food for my soul. And, of course, the Eucharist and the Mass, if you can get there, is great. But his word is so alive. And in the season that our beautiful Catholic Church has given us with the ins and outs of the seasons here in Advent, we hear of salvation history, of people that have gone wrong but have turned back, and God's continuously being there, and all they have to do is receive, and how the disobedience of one, Adam, was canceled out by the obedience of one, Jesus Christ. So Great Reset, every time listeners hear it throughout the next couple of days in 2021, let's hear that word and think of, we need to reset on Jesus. And that's what I wanted to share with the listeners here. Just turn to his word. Our church has a great grace and a season to follow his word every day. And it's in Mass, every single Mass celebrated around the world. And being a convert myself, Mother Angelica, Our Lady of Guadalupe, brought us, my family, into the church. How amazing. We are praying God's scripture with every single Mass, every single day, the same scripture. And be confident that in a quiet moment when you sit and read God's living word, he will speak to your heart in that moment, in those troubles, whether it be with your husband or your children or whatever it may be. In this darkest time, we're able to see light better. So I just pray for every single person that hears this right now, that the light of Christ at Christmas just touch their soul.
Well, Natalie, thank you. You have just offered a few minutes of incredible wisdom to all of us. And we do hear a lot about this great reset, which doesn't sound all that positive in some ways,
Right.
like you said, politically and economically. But it's never a bad time to have a Christian reset in our lives. And,
Yes.
you know, the Bible tells us God's mercies are new every morning. You know, and St. Teresa of Avila says, begin again, begin again. That's not just every morning. We can begin again, in a sense, reset every hour of the day if we want to. I just did an internet search on the word reset. And it just says, to reset a broken bone, to set, adjust, or fix in a new or different way, to reset priorities. And even if we've at one time in our lives had a good, solid prayer life, we're reading scripture, we're praying, we're listening to worship music, we're doing spiritual reading, sometimes we get so beat up by the world that we say, what's the use anymore? And we throw our hands up in the air. But I know from experience, when I have let my guard down and that has become less of a priority in my life, it never results in good things. And so God, with the help of God's grace, I try and get back and reset to doing that daily holy hour and exactly the things you're talking about. And just imagine, Debbie, the difference in the world and in our relationships if we would all do what Natalie's talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jerry, that was wonderful what you shared. And Natalie, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was pouring out from your heart and your soul, and we received it. We received those wise words of yours. And yeah, that's what we need to do. As soon as we hear that word reset, think of Jesus right away. And let's really be living out our Christian faith and being Christ in the world. We need Christ in the world now more than ever. We need mini Mother Teresas, right? We need them. We need heroes. And so that's our prayer. That's our wish for 2021. What do you think, Natalie?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've all been destined and called to this time. It's difficult, but God gives us the strength. And so I just pray your listeners in their own reset. Don't even think about their world outside, within their own, and they will be supplied, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Amen. Thank you, Natalie.
Great stuff, Natalie. Thanks for being a part of the... Yeah, thank you. Blessed Christmas to you and yours. And thanks for being a part of the Take Two family and for calling the program today. Real quick programming note, the Sunrise Morning Show, it's every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Morning Show, Annie and Matt will discuss the last antiphon, the last O antiphon, O Emmanuel. Also, Joseph Pierce will join them to talk about J.R. Tolkien's Letters from Christmas. And Rita Heichenfeld, she's been on for many years, will give out some good Christmas recipes. So lots of stuff for everyone on the Sunrise Morning Show, weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern on many of these same EWTN stations.
Great show. Okay, we're going to get to Sandy and then Victoria. So hang on, Victoria. Sandy in Ohio, listening on St. Gabriel Radio. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for waiting and welcome.
Hi, Sandy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll call myself Sandy. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Boy, my problem sounds so minor compared to the other callers. But anyway, I have a friend that there's three of us that have been friends since seventh grade, and we're 68 years old. And the one friend, Rose, just kind of like distanced herself. Actually, she wasn't talking to the one friend for like almost 2 years, and I tried getting them together, and it finally worked. And now she's not talking to me it's been 8 months already. And she's Christian. She's non-denominational. And I'm Catholic, and I just don't know how to handle it. It all happened when she had gotten a job. Over the years, she has lost her job and got several jobs and lost those jobs. And so I suggested over the years that she go into home care, because that's what I do. And she said, oh, I can never do that. I can never do that, blah, blah, blah. Well, she finally did take my advice and got a job in home care. And it happened when COVID was starting. And I simply made the comment because I thought she was kidding me on April 1st. I said, oh, Rose, because she's a joker. I said, oh, I can't believe the April Fool's joke. Anyway, she said, no, I'm serious. So I said, well, this is just not the time to get into home care because of COVID. And she took offense to that. I don't know if she thought I was trying to control her life or whatever. And basically a couple of weeks later left me a message that she doesn't want to hear from me anymore. She hopes I have a good life, and that's it. Because, I'm sorry, I forgot to say this. When she said about going into home care, and I thought she was kidding, I said, are you crazy? I used the word crazy. I just blurted it out. I didn't mean it. I said, are you crazy going into home care with the COVID going on? And I think she took offense to me using that word. But anyway, now, 8 months later, she has COVID. And and she's sick as we speak. And anyway, I don't know whether to use this as an opportunity to say, I did call her on her birthday, which was December 11th, and I wished her happy birthday, and that was it. And I don't know whether to use this as a reason to call her, and say, something about the COVID, and, I heard you had COVID, and I'm sorry, I'm praying for you, and break the ice. But then she'll know that the other friend told me, because how else would I know that she had COVID?
Right.
I mean, it sounds trivial, but it really, after almost 50 years of being friends, to not be friends anymore. The three of us hung around together. We would go to lunch. We would laugh. We would cry together, and then this just, I can't believe it. I don't know whether it's demonic.
No,
I don't know how to handle
it's
it.
people are just making choices now that they feel are the right thing for themselves. It's happening all the time. We do life coaching round the clock about this. So I don't know necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily blame it on the demonic. I think people are just making choices. But Sandy, here's maybe a simple fix to this. I would go to that other friend and ask her permission if you could reach out to Rose and see how she's feeling through COVID. If she gives you that permission, go right ahead. I would definitely do whatever it takes to say to Rose, and just like you did, walk down memory lane. Rose, we've been friends since 7th grade. We all hung out together. We did this together. Do you remember this, Rose, in 7th grade? Do you remember this, Rose, in 8th grade? Do you remember this in high school? Do you remember this? I don't want to lose that, Rose. Is there anything we can do to, again, hit that reset button, start over, and just, continue the relationship? Sometimes people really need to hear it from somebody's, the deep part of their heart. Sometimes we kind of stay on the surface when we're interacting because we don't want to get hurt. But I think you need to pour out your heart to her. You got nothing to lose if you want to keep the friendship and you want to show her you care. I would get permission from that other friend and then go for it. Sandy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's very good advice because, I never even thought of asking Jody if I should, is it okay if I call Rose? Would you mind, me telling her that I found out about COVID from you? Because I don't want her to get mad at me then.
Right.
I mean, it's so trivial. It's
right. And I would tell the other friend what you plan on sharing with Rose. I would, you guys have all been friends since, that is amazing that you've been friends since elementary school. Hang on to it. Hang on to it. Walk down memory lane together. Schedule a time when you can all talk, the three of you, and go through all your childhood experiences. That'll really, reconnect all of you. Yeah, you can do it, Sandy. You can do it, and I'm going to pray that Rose is open to receiving that call from you.
Okay, thank you. That was very good advice. Like I said, I didn't have any peace in my heart. I'm not one to carry grudges,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been feeling that that's what I should do. Try to contact her again.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You.
And if
Thank
she
you for your
and
ministry.
if she closes,
very important ministry.
Oh, thank you. And if she closes the door, Sandy, it's okay because you did the right thing. Okay, you did the right thing. You be authentically Sandy. If she's not open to it right now, maybe she will be down the road. And we're going to pray that she gets through this COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandy, for the call. Real quickly to Victoria in our last couple of minutes in Atlanta, Georgia, listening on our friends at The Quest. Hi, Victoria. Welcome to Take Two.
Hey, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I just want to say I've been listening to you guys for a little while. I've never called, but I heard Rose's call earlier about her situation with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really upsetting to me. I feel like, sometimes in a lot of situations, yes, you do turn the other cheek and you try to do the right thing. But her situation in particular, to me, I feel like that's something she needs to get out of. She probably needs to get away from this person. I don't know what her family situation is, what her temperament is. Some people are more able to do this than others. But it was just very upsetting to me, and it definitely prompted me to call. I'm just concerned about her. I don't know her, but it just sounds like not a good situation. I'm going to be praying for her and hoping for the best. I just wanted to put that out there, that I hope that she has resources. I hope she has a supportive family, and I hope she has a way to find a way out of that situation. It might not be permanent. People change. It's not often, but they can, especially with prayer and time. So, Rose, if you're still listening, I really hope that you can find a way to kind of take some time to yourself, get away from that, and, come back better and maybe make some realizations. It was just, like I said, I've never called, but I was just very concerned, and I wanted to at least call and say, and be able to say that to her if she's still listening.
I'm sure she is, and I hope that she does reach out to our life coach Rose Sweet, whose name is Rose as well, because Victoria, you're not alone. There's been many text messages that have been flying in saying the same thing that you're saying. So that just goes to show your caring heart for Rose, and so thank you for that. Hopefully, if she gets these resources and people to talk to, I'm almost sure that a separation or a space between them for a while is probably a healthy situation for them until they can figure out how to interact. I couldn't agree more. My stomach's been hurting ever since the call, and I've been praying for her as well. So we all do this together. That's what the Take Two family does. We all come together and pray for one another. Right, Jerry?
Yes, indeed, Victoria. Thank you so very, very much for sharing your heart on this. And we definitely believe that Rose Sweet will be able to assist our caller, Rose. And thank you for your prayers for that. We are all praying for that. And for all of the people who called in today, those who are in difficult relationships who didn't get a chance to call in as well. Debbie, one more live show before Christmas. And I'm looking very forward to tomorrow's broadcast.
We're calling all teens. If you're a teenager, young adult, please, with parents' permission, call in and share with us your Christmas wish for yourself, your family, your community, the world. We want to hear from the youth. That's tomorrow's show on Take Two. Jerry, I am looking forward to it.
If you aren't able to make it to tune in tomorrow, we want to take this opportunity to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. We'll be back with you a few days after Christmas, but until tomorrow, we want to wish you a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, pray for us.
Dr. Ray Guarendi, avoiding all known forms of